Yes, I thought I'd make a few additional comments, things that I could have put in the science and religion. The first one was, on the two different areas, the scientific and the religious. And I said that science really does not have the answer to what happens on the near-death experiences and what your mind experiences then, your right brain, and also that science to change a postulate into a theory or a true theory or a scientific fact, they should take it back to the lab, right, to test it out. So next time, if you think that science can explain all the phenomena that I mentioned, uh, and near-death experiences and so on, and the mind, ask the scientists to take it back and see if they can produce a piece of your mind in the lab. Okay. The other thing I mentioned is, and you probably guessed that I made the mistake when I said the proton consists of two up and one down, and quarks. And a quark has a charge of positive 2/3, and that's the up quark, and the down has a charge of minus 1/3. Well, two up and one down makes a proton, and two down and one up makes a neutron. I might have said, instead of saying quark, I think I said proton, and instead of saying the down quark, I might have said a neutron. That's probably clear from what I continued on to say, but I didn't make a misstep there. And how did we know that the universe actually is expanding? How do we know that the stars are going away from the Earth? Hubble sort of saw that, but how did he conclude then that the stars are receding from the Earth? Well, it's the light from the stars, and the light can be either a wave or a particle. And back in the 16th century, or 1600s rather, excuse me, Newton saw that light was separated into several different colors, from red to indigo being like dark purple. And that each one of those colors had a different frequency. Now, sound is also propagated by waves. You can see that light is, by the way, propagated by waves, as I mentioned. If you just hold the two fingers up and look through one eye, you can see light lines in between. And those are interference lines, indicating it's a wave, like when you throw two rocks in a pool and you get waves which interfere with each other. So Newton said that each of the colors has different frequencies. Well, sound also is propagated by a wave. So when you hear a train coming towards you, for instance, it's squashing together the waves. So the waves have a shorter wavelength. That's the distance from the two crests of the wave. And therefore it vibrates up and down for the frequency within that certain space much more frequently. So the frequency is higher. And then when the train goes by, it elongates the waves. It pulls the waves apart. So the wavelength is longer, and therefore the frequency is less. So as the train goes by you, it goes from a high frequency to a lower frequency, from a high pitch to a low pitch, and you hear the sound drop. Excuse me. Same for the light then, it's propagated by a wave. So when it's going away from you, it goes from the indigo to the red. And using a piece of equipment called a spectrometer, you can see that it's moving, that it's going, shifting towards the red shift. So that's how he knew that the stars were all receding away from the Earth. Also, when we got down to the creation of this solar system, which is 4.6 billion years ago, well, in between that time, in between 13.8 minus 380,000 years and 4.8 billion years, that's when all your other atoms were created. So a lot of events happened during that time, and it could have happened in a particular star, in a particular galaxy, and a particular galaxy in the universe. So you could have a carbon atom, for instance, in one finger that has been created 12 billion years ago in a particular galaxy, in a particular star, and a carbon in your other finger, or in the same finger even, that is 6 billion years old, created in a particular star and a particular galaxy. And there could be 100 billion to 200 billion stars in a galaxy, and over 100 to 200 billion galaxies in the universe. So there's a lot of different things that can't come together to create you and to get where you are now. And I know that one time when I was talking about Newton's law of gravity, the first time I think I explained it, I forgot to square the distance between the two objects when I explained the law of gravity. So that was just a misstep. So I thought I'd just add those two or three things in. And of course, you'll probably add a lot of the different steps that had to happen for you to, and the universe to exist. So I thought I'd just add those right as I say. Bye for now.